Well, thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. Indications we're getting is that small businesses in Ghana's economy are beginning to realize a quick start after the COVID-19 pandemic and its effects. That's contained in the Business Tracker report being spearheaded by the Ghana Statistical Service. Fortunately, we have Francis Mensah, who's coordinator for the program, joining us via Zoom now to have a conversation on the details of this report that's just coming out. Francis, such a pleasure to have you at this moment to break down all of the figures to us. In fact, we know that we have a lot contained in this reports that gives hope, at least to those in the SME sector here in Ghana. But first of all, give us a picture of what's happening to these businesses and what the initial findings are in that business tracker. We seem to be having a challenge hearing you. If you could just unmute for us so we can hear you this time around, Francis.
Thank you.
Yes.
Pleasure is mine. So right there, as is indicated, the Business Tracker survey started in 2020 and is to follow over 4,000 firms who want to find the impact of COVID on their businesses. So we had 3 waves of the tracker. So this report, we're looking at a panel of about 3,600 of the firms that we followed for the 3 waves. So our motivation for this round was to see whether there has been a recovery, and if they have, what is the pathway of that recovery?
Right.
We'll find out whether the government stimulus package had an impact on firms. So we look at the sales, looking at the recovery from 3 perspectives. We look at from the sales perspective, access to inputs and finances. So from the sales perspective, we realize that between wave 1 and wave 3, we see an increase in sales of businesses, especially we ask for the change of sales a year compared to a year ago. Unlike wave 1, wave 2, where we saw less than 10% change in sales, in the 3rd wave, which was done last year, September last year, we saw close to about 33% increase in sales. So we went further to really find out what is really driving this, which sector is really driving this sale, and whether it's as a result of the impacts, the government intervention. Yes, we asked firms whether they receive any intervention from government. So for those that indicated that yes, we received some intervention, we assessed the impact. So from that, we saw that yes, the impact had effect on their sales positively, but it's more of the small scale firms that experience much impact or positive impact. So unlike the wave 1 and the wave 2, where we saw dip or change in the sales of firms, in the wave 3, we realized our firms, especially in the top 35, they were the drivers of the sales that we were seeing.
We have some specific sectors making more waves than others. Or is this just cutting across for everybody?
Specifically, when we look at the sectors, we could see that the manufacturing sector saw an increase in sales. When you compare to the situation that existed during the 2nd wave, i.e. that is 2021, the change in sales moved from 6.9% to around 37%. And the food and accommodation subsector, whereas they were heavily affected during the COVID. So looking at a sales change of 1.3 during the first wave of the survey, we saw a jump to around 30% or close to 40% in their sales. And trade also saw heavy increase in their sales from about 7% during the 2nd wave to close to about 50%, 46% in the 3rd wave.
So what's likely to be the implication for Ghana's economy, and what projections are you making? What are we likely to see in the coming days or years?
From the increase in sales, yes, we expect that maybe to have effect in the GDP as we compute them. And if the recovery continues as we expect, then we expect full recovery of the firms, because we've seen a lot of the firms reopen, even though we have some that are still closed.
Okay, so largely our GDP will have some boost there, but for the fact that this is just concerning SMEs, how about the bigger organizations? Are there any findings that you made of them, and are things looking promising for the sector as well?
So the survey actually did not only cover the SME,
Right.
cover both the medium and the large firm enterprises. Actually, the sampling is from the integrated business establishment segment, about 600,000 firms that we had. So what we are trying to say, the impact of government intervention was hardly seen on the small scale and the medium firms. So if the impact is spread across all the other sectors, i.e. the large and the medium, then we expect that sales will improve. And when sales and all other things being equal, we expect that maybe it will reflect in the growth of the economy.
Okay, I'm grateful. Francis Mensah is the coordinator for the COVID-19 business tracker, spearheaded by the Ghana Statistical Service. When we return here on The Pulse, we'll bring you some sports news.